What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Arizona AZ Sports Podcast and Arizona Sports Podcast. And Mikal Bridges did something Saturday night that only a couple of other Phoenix Suns have ever done in their careers. Let's talk about it.
On the spin, fires for the win! Got it! The 30, the 20, if he scores, it's over. It's insane. One of the greatest postseason performers ever.
Here's Carroll. He's got it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series.
Mikal Bridges won the NBA Finals Saturday night with the New York Knicks. And he became the first Suns player since Shawn Marion to be a former Sun to start and really contribute on a title-winning team. He joins a very short list of 8 other integral Suns who have won championships after leaving the Valley. And here is all of them ranked. So Mikal Bridges, age 29, won a championship with the Knicks in 2026. He is the most impactful Sun to leave and then go someplace else and win a championship. Then there's Shawn Marion, who is 33 when he won one with the Dallas Mavericks. He defended LeBron and Wade and Bosh for a lot of that series. And his defense, honestly, was a huge reason why the Dallas Mavericks won the championship. Obviously, Dirk was incredible in that series. And we'll get to the other similarities between that Mavericks team and this Knicks team in a minute. Then Jason Kidd, guess what? He also won a championship with the Mavericks in 2011. He was 38 years old. He was at the end of his career. Then we had the Brazilian Blur, Leandro Barbosa, 32 years old, won a championship with the Warriors in 2015. He was a bench player that performed really well that season for the Warriors. Then we have Boris Diaw, another guy who started his career in Phoenix, won a championship at 32 years old with the Spurs. We have Channing Frye, similar boat. Didn't start his career in Phoenix, but really made his bones in Phoenix. Won a championship with the Cavs in 2016 at age 33. We have AC Green, who won a championship with the Lakers in 2000. PJ Tucker won a championship with the Bucks at age 36 in 2021. And Michael Finley won one at age 34 with the Spurs in 2007. So, not that long of a list. Guys don't usually move on from Phoenix and find a whole lot of success. Now, obviously, this was different. The Suns traded Bridges in a deal involving Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, and Kevin Durant. So the circumstances were different for a lot of these guys. But for Kidd, he went and played in New Jersey for a long time. Never was able to win a championship there. For Marion, the Mavericks were not his first stop. And obviously neither was Bridges. And then same thing with Boris Diaw and Channing Frye. Those guys bounced around to a couple different teams and then won championships at the end. So Mikal Bridges is the best player to move on from the Phoenix Suns and win a championship, which, if you're a Suns fan, it's painful to see him win and not feel that joy of watching him win for our own team. But if you didn't get a little choked up seeing him cry on Saturday night and you didn't feel joy in your heart for Mikal Bridges, then I don't know if you are a true Suns fan, because Mikal gave everything. He was traded. He didn't want to leave, but he was traded, and he continued to do exactly what he had done in Phoenix. He continued to play hard. Still hasn't missed a game in his NBA career, which is just incredible. We have so many guys in the NBA who are missing games for the most minor injuries. I mean, we all went through the Bradley Beal experience last year, and the last 2 years. And then obviously, like, I don't know if we had a single guy outside of Oso Ighodaro play all 82 games on the Suns this year. So even just playing 82 games is impressive. He logs heavy minutes. He's always guarding the other team's best or second best player. And he was awesome in the playoffs. So Bridges averaged 13.5 points per game in the playoffs on incredible efficiency splits. He shot 56% from the field, a 36.5% from three, 2.7 assists, and 1 steal a game as well. And it was incredible. I believe his effective field goal percentage was in the 60s. I think he shot over 60% from 2-point range in the finals. That's pretty impressive, especially because he does take a fair share of mid-range pull-up jumpers. And the other thing that's impressive about Bridges is that it's a whole lot more about the countable stats with him. He had to sacrifice a lot, which is exactly what he had to do in Phoenix. He had to sacrifice a lot because he was the fourth option on this team. It went Brunson, it went Townsend and Anunoby, and then it went Bridges. Bridges has a lot more to his game and probably could have done a lot more in this series, but he decided this whole season, his last 2 seasons with the Knicks, to be just the best role player he could be and to make everyone around him better. With Bridges, he always makes the high IQ plays, whether it's a one more to the corner, attacking closeouts, finding guys, cutting, moving off of the ball is something that he just does incredibly well. Whatever your team needs Bridges to do, he's going to go out there and do it very well. And that's what he did with the Knicks. He definitely gets a lot of flack because he was traded for 5 first-round picks to the Nets. But as everyone's been saying, F them picks, right? F them picks. You got a championship out of it. And Bridges was so important to the cause for the Knicks winning the championship. And as a Suns fan, it's now on us, guys. Like, we have the longest drought. I mean, we did before, but really, like, the fan base that has suffered the most the last 50 years is now officially the Suns. You could have argued that it was the Knicks, and maybe because they were a big market team, they grabbed all the headlines. But guys, it's us. It's the Suns. We're a team that's been around forever, that's had sustained success for who knows how long, and we just can't win one. Just haven't won one. We've had multiple bites of the apple. In the 70s, we had a shot. In the 90s, we had a shot. In the 2000s, we definitely had a shot, because if the Suns beat the Spurs in 2007, we're winning that championship. And we all know what happened there. At some point this summer, I'm going to do a 30-minute deep dive video on why the Suns should have won a championship that season and why it was taken away from us. And we also, had a chance against the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021 when we were up 2-0. And in game 3 and game 4, I was a little scared for Mikal, because I was like, no, this guy is going to lose 2 championships being up 2 in the series. I mean, that's honestly where my mind went when the Knicks were down 29 points in game 4. But the Knicks came back. They won the series in 5 games, which is truly incredible. Another guy that deserves a shout as well is Landry Shamet. As frustrating as he was with the Suns and as timid and low confidence he was with the Suns, he was honestly the complete opposite in New York. He was a guy that played hard, obviously. I mean, we know that Landry's got a motor, but I mean, he really played hard, and it stands out when he's on the court because he chases guys through screens. He defends hard. He does everything that's asked of him. And he played with some confidence, and he played with an edge that it was really awesome to see him play with a different kind of edge and not just kind of flow out there. He was bringing it. And in that comeback in game 5, he had the 3, he had the driving layup, sprained his ankle after, but he had 5 huge points in that comeback and was obviously incredible in that conference final series because he was 11 of 12 from 3, 10 of 12 from 3. I don't know if we'll ever see numbers like that in a series ever again. I mean, he was such an important part for the Knicks, and he wasn't even a guy that the Knicks were planning on playing a ton this season. He barely made the roster. He was on a non-guaranteed contract going into training camp. And he just played his way into honestly like the 6th or 7th most important guy on the Knicks this season, at least in the playoffs, because Deuce McBride didn't do a whole lot this series and the last series. Tyler Kolek didn't do a ton. Jordan Clarkson honestly was not that big of a factor. It was really Landry Shamet and Mitchell Robinson off the bench for the Knicks that gave them enough depth to win a championship. And obviously it stings a little bit because if Landry had played the way he played in New York this season, I don't know if we'd have a championship, but I will say we would have had more of a shot against Dallas and Denver when he was in Phoenix. And but regardless of how you feel about him, you should at least say, hey, even if I didn't like him in Phoenix, he played hard, he tried his best, didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't play as well as we'd hoped. Guy continued to work, stayed in the league, won a championship. Good for him. And so let's now move to a different list of Suns players who moved on that didn't win a ring. And the list, and by the way, I just made a list on ChatGPT of the like top 50 and top 100 Suns. And so it didn't get everyone right. Archie Goodwin was like shockingly high for whatever reason. ChatGPT loves Archie Goodwin. I don't know why. Maybe I'll figure that out one day. But for the most part, like it got the list 80 to 90% correct. So out of the top 50 here, the 13 players who moved on from Phoenix to go try and win a championship someplace else but couldn't get it done. Steve Nash went to LA. Barkley went to Houston. Kevin Johnson retired as a Sun. Amari Stoudemire went to the Knicks. Dan Marley went to the Cavs and Heat. Tom Chambers went to Utah. Jason Kidd went to New Jersey and Dallas and then New York. So he did get one. Chris Paul went to Golden State and then San Antonio. And then unfortunately what happened to him on the Clippers. Kevin Durant is in Houston and it doesn't look right now he's going to get another one, but things could always change there. Joe Johnson played in Atlanta and Brooklyn, never won one. Eric Bledsoe went to Milwaukee and never even made the finals. Jeff Hornacek got close in Utah, and Goran Dragic got close in Miami. And then there's a few other high-level Suns that did go on to play at other teams, but they were at the end of their career, and so it wasn't like any of these guys that left Phoenix still kind of in the prime of their careers. So, I mean, that's a good list. I mean, you put all those guys on a team together, and that's one of the greatest teams of all time. And all those guys have come to Phoenix, gotten close-ish to winning a championship, whether it's the conference finals or the NBA finals. But none of those guys ever got it done, unfortunately. So just shaking off the Suns' curse after leaving Phoenix is something that's hard to do, obviously. But it just makes what Mikal Bridges did even more incredible, and that's why he is the best Suns player to ever win a championship after leaving the Phoenix Suns. All right, next up. The Arizona Diamondbacks finally won a series. I believe it's the first series that they've won this entire month, and it was against the Cincinnati Reds. And if you're a Diamondbacks fan, we all know what happened last year. It's really where the Diamondbacks season went into a free fall. It's where Gabriel Moreno and Christian Mena both got injured it was a really bad series. And when we saw that rain come in Sunday, we were all flashing back to, oh no, here comes the rain. The Diamondbacks were leading when it started to rain last year, and then they gave up a run, tied it, and then they had to play the makeup game the next day and lost it, and then lost the next game like 12-1. I had bad vibes yesterday on Sunday watching this game. The Reds, I thought for sure were going to come back and win it in the bottom of the ninth because of the rain. But they didn't. And not only that, the Diamondbacks got an insurance run, and they actually scored 5 runs in a game. I can't even remember the last time that's happened. It feels like it's been a week, maybe 2 weeks since that happened. And not only that, the Diamonds got multiple home runs this game. It's good to see that the slug is back for some of the guys. Tommy Troy had a home run. Corbin Carroll had a home run. Actually, I don't remember if Corbin Carroll had a home run yesterday. He definitely did the day before on Saturday. That was the Diamondbacks' only run of the game. And then, so it was Tommy Troy, Gabriel Moreno, and then we had Ketel Marte getting the game-sealing RBI as well. Oh, it was Geraldo Perdomo that got the home run. So the Diamondbacks offense did just enough on Friday and Sunday to get a series win. Zach Gallen looked the most Zach Gallen he's looked in a minute. He did give up 2 solo home runs, so people are still hitting him really, really hard, which is unfortunate, but he only gave up 3 runs, and we're going to take that from Zach. I mean, we're treating him as the 5th guy in the rotation. He just has not been that good. He definitely looked the most Zach Gallen. He made it through 6 innings and only gave up 3 runs. And unfortunately, it looked like he was going to have a great start until that 6th inning where he gave up the last solo shot. Too many mistake pitches, but it seems like he knows that fastball isn't getting swing and miss. And so he's using the slider, cutter, changeup, curve, and he didn't use the curveball a ton yesterday, it felt like. Because that pitch has been getting kind of pounded as well when he's left it in the zone. If it's outside the zone, I don't think teams are hitting it that well. But if that curve stays in the zone, people are also hitting that a country mile as well. So he was mixing his pitches well. Seemed like he had a pretty good comfort level with what he was throwing for the most part outside of the 2 home runs. He didn't even give up that many hits. Didn't give up many walks, so it was a good Zach Gallen performance. Michael Soroka the day before had another gem where he only gave up 1 run in 7 innings pitched. Unfortunately, Juan Murillo came in, gave up a home run in the 8th inning, and that's why the Diamondbacks lost the game. They out-hit the Reds on Saturday. They just couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. It continues to be a theme. I'd like to think that they're going to snap out of it, but it is becoming a theme for this Diamondbacks team over the last week or two, is that they just can't hit with runners in scoring position. And even yesterday, the Diamondbacks were not able to hit it with runners in scoring position because it was a solo shot from Tommy Troy. It was a solo shot from Gabriel Moreno. Perdomo hit a home run with a guy on first base, so technically runner was not in scoring position. And then finally, Marte, well, hold up. Finally, we got the Diamondbacks had someone get on base at the top of the 9th inning. Barossa bunts them over to second base, and then Marte gets a base hit knock and they score. So we finally got a hit with runners in scoring position. It felt like it was never going to come, but it did. And I want to focus on specifically yesterday's game and Geraldo Perdomo. So if you didn't see, and I don't know how you didn't see it. If you somehow found this podcast, which I know is barely getting off the ground right now, if you didn't see what Geraldo Perdomo did on Sunday, you have to go watch all the highlights. You have to watch this post-game interview. It's hilarious. So Geraldo Perdomo, as he's coming out for the 7th inning, I believe it's the 7th inning, there's a mascot race, right? And so the mascots are running around the diamond. It's Mr. Red and it's Mrs. Red, and they have the finish line tape right outside the Diamondbacks dugout. And so Perdomo comes out of the dugout, runs through the tape to beat the mascots, and then runs away. And then he comes back to shake hands with the mascots, and the mascot grabs the tape that's still wrapped around Perdomo and walks away and doesn't shake his hand or give him a high five or anything. Pretty good mascot moment, pretty good Perdomo moment. But then what Perdomo goes is he goes out and he hits a 2-run home run to give the Diamondbacks a lead at that point. It was a 3-2 ball game, I believe. So he goes out there, gives the Diamondbacks a lead. Great. And then just continues to be the most Perdomo guy ever. And in the post-game interview, they're talking to him. He calls Merrill Kelly his son. Merrill tries to dump the Gatorade on him. Misses because Perdomo runs out of the way, which is pretty impressive. Then Perdomo talks about the mascot. He says, I had to leave with 2 W's today, not just one. I won the race and then we won the game. He drops an F-bomb in the post-game interview, which is pretty funny as well, talking about the mascot. It was the most Geraldo Perdomo day ever, and I love it. And not just that, but Perdomo may be back, guys. In the month of June, Perdomo is hitting .308, and yesterday hit his first home run of the month, and he has an on-base percentage over 400. The slugging percentage is not there yet because all of his hits besides his home run yesterday are singles, but he is getting back to doing Perdomo things on the field as well as off the field. So, yeah, Perdomo, he's starting to get the base knocks. We're not seeing quite the power from him yet. We need to see a lot more hard hit balls, some more doubles. He's still incredibly frustrating running the bases as well because this guy gets thrown out all the time, and it's so frustrating. He's always trying to steal, and I feel like he gets thrown out more than any other Diamondback, and maybe gets thrown out twice as much as any other Diamondback. It's very frustrating, and he honestly ruined a rally. And I can't remember, it was in the 3rd or the 4th inning. Felt like Perdomo ruined a rally because he got thrown out at second, and the guy behind him walked, so he would have been at second anyway. We just gotta. Tori always says, just get on base and then next man up mentality. Sometimes I think Perdomo gets on base and forgets that there's hitters behind him that maybe aren't the greatest, right? But they're still capable of getting on base. And especially at his spot in the lineup, just don't get any outs and then let Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Gabriel Moreno, let those guys get RBIs and get you home instead of trying to do it all yourself. But you'll take the good and the bad with Perdomo. Hopefully he starts to get hot and we can see a version of last year of 2025 Perdomo, who was 7.1 WAR player. Let's hope we can get back to that. And the last thing before we stop talking about the Diamondbacks is this is a monumental week for the Diamondbacks. This week, they play the Angels and the Twins, and they play the Twins at home on Father's Day. So if you're looking for something to do on Father's Day, go to a Diamondbacks game. There's nothing better than baseball and bringing your dad to a baseball game. So the Arizona Diamondbacks play the Angels first and then the Twins on the weekend. And it is, I don't want to say must win because it's only June, but if the Diamondbacks want to continue to stay in the playoff race in August and September, then these are the series that you have to win. And they honestly need to do pretty much what they did against the Rockies and the Giants, which is beat up on the worst teams of baseball, especially if you're at home. And you probably got to win 5 out of 6 against these teams. I think you got to win at least 2 out of 3 against the Angels and at least 2 out of 3 against the Twins. And if you don't sweep one of them, it's honestly not going to be, that's not good, right? And of course, we know there's 3 Diamondbacks pitchers with a over 5 ERA right now: Merrill, Ryan Nelson, and Zach Gallen. So obviously, we're going to need those guys to pitch better than their numbers say they are right now. We're going to need to win every single game that Eduardo Rodriguez and Michael Soroka pitch in, and we need the bullpen to not have any blunders like Murillo did, and like they had last week as well against the Marlins. For the most part, I think this Diamondbacks bullpen is getting the job done. You look at all their numbers, and the numbers say that they're good. Thankfully, Kevin Ginkel, who always somehow manages to get runners on base, but then leave them stranded, did that again yesterday in Cincinnati. Nothing better than a good Kevin Ginkel roar after striking out 2 batters or getting 2 batters out when he's got 2 on, 1 out. Pretty incredible. And it was on a wild pitch too, or at least a pitch that Gabby struggled to catch behind the plate. They advanced to second and third too. And still Kevin Ginkel was able to hold those guys at bay against the Reds. So yeah, it's a big week for the Diamondbacks. Not the sexiest matchups, obviously. Anytime you play the Dodgers or the Padres, or whenever they play the Cubs next, or any of the other teams right around them in the standings, which was another reason why getting this Reds series dub was so huge, because the Reds could easily be a team that the Diamondbacks are in tiebreaker situations with at the end of the season if they can turn it around. So yeah, it's a big week for the Diamondbacks. Expect a lot of W's. And if there's not, then something is truly wrong, and they haven't gotten out of their slump that they've been in for the last 2 weeks. Jordan Lawler came back as well, and he continued his hot hitting for the most part. If he's going to continue to hit 300, and I know it's a very small sample size, then this is a guy that probably has to play every day, and this is your long-term outfield mate next to Corbin Carroll, or maybe they decide to move him back to first or second base, or second or third base at some point in his career as well. But with Corbin right now, you have those 2 guys in the lineup every day. I feel pretty confident if Tommy Troy or Ryan Waldschmidt can continue to play well, that would be awesome as well. My wife thinks that Tommy Troy is kind of a right-handed Corbin Carroll, and I'm not saying Tommy Troy is going to come close to winning Rookie of the Year or being in the MVP conversation, but it would be nice if Tommy Troy could be a light version of Corbin Carroll at the opposite side of the plate. He's obviously extremely fast, a decent defender, and a guy that hopefully you can count on to get on base, steal bases, and showcase some power too, which he did yesterday on Sunday against the Reds in Cincinnati. So that's our Diamondbacks. And to end, we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals and their path to the playoffs. And guys, I know it's unlikely that for at least this season and probably next season that they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to come close to sniffing the playoffs because of the division that they're in, and 2, they're just not that great of a team and not that great of a roster, and there's still a long ways to go for them to rebuild this thing back to at least playoff contention. But with that being said, I'm going to take an optimistic look probably for the rest of the month to at least try and talk myself into a run to the playoffs happening. And so we're going to start and we're going to focus on position groups, or at least one aspect of the Cardinals that gives me confidence, or at least gives me an inkling that they could become a playoff team this year. And the number one reason why the Cardinals can make the playoffs this year is their run game. It's the improvement in the run game that if the Cardinals have any shot at all of making the playoffs this year, it's because they can run the football. Last year, we know that the Cardinals were terrible at running the football. They were last in rushing attempts. They were second to last in rushing yards, 30th in rushing first downs. In 2024, they were 11th in attempts, but they were top 10 in rushing yards and second in yards per rush. So there is precedent, and the year before as well, they were a decent rushing team. So there is precedent that this team can be a good rushing team. And it has a lot to do with guys coming back from injury, bolstering up the offensive line, Mike LaFleur, obviously Jeremiah Love. So let's get into it. So starting with the veteran, we have James Conner, who prior to last year rushed for 1,000 yards the previous 2 seasons. And while he's not an explosive back, he is someone who can reliably get you like 3 to 6 yards just about every carry, as long as there's a tad bit of daylight for him. If he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, it's hard for anyone except for even Saquon Barkley to make something happen. But you give him a hole, he's for sure getting 3 to 6 yards and maybe hitting a couple bigger ones for 10 to 20. He's a very powerful running back. And if he's back healthy, he might not be running back 1, but he definitely has RB1 potential. Now, the thing with Conner is that he is a guy that easily could be traded before the start of the season because of how much depth there is in the Cardinals running back room. I mean, we got 3 guys who realistically could be running or RB1s, or at least be RB halves where they at least split carries with other running backs. And so it's a really good group. And because of that, I keep saying the Diamondbacks. Because of that, the Cardinals could look to move on from Conner because he is the youngest, he is the oldest. Sorry, guys, my brain keeps flipping Cardinals and D-backs and youngest and oldest. But Conner is the oldest running back, and there are running back needy teams that would be willing to give the Cardinals value for a guy like Conner. So right now, I don't have him pegged as RB1, but if he's on the team, he's going to be getting carries, and he's going to have to hopefully showcase his value to potentially be traded. But if not, he is a integral part of this Cardinals running back room. Next, let's not skip over anyone else before we get to Jeremiah Love. So obviously he was drafted number 3. The Cardinals think that if you're taking a running back at number 3, you think he's going to be like one of the greatest running backs of all time. That's what you're telling your fan base. That's what you're telling your organization. That's what you're telling your coach, which is like, hey, we drafted this guy 3, so you better use him like he's a 3rd overall pick. And at Notre Dame, he was incredibly explosive, and powerful. If you watched him in Notre Dame's run to the championship, he was still doing incredible things while on an injured knee. I believe he hurdled a guy into the end zone in the Penn State game or the Ohio State game. Just absolutely incredible player. Was one of the best players in the country the last 2 seasons. Probably, in my opinion, was more deserving of the Heisman Trophy than Sayan, but that's saying something. Yeah, he's making more guaranteed money than any other running back right now, except for Saquon Barkley, because of all the guaranteed money he's getting as a rookie. So The Cardinals are paying a big price for a running back, and it's a price that they need to showcase Love. And I think one of the reasons why they drafted Love is because they wanted some sizzle and they wanted some jersey sales. And I think Jeremiah Love has a really, really good shot at doing that for the Cardinals this year, especially with the guys around him, which we'll get to as well. So the next guy we got to talk about is Tyler Algier, who signed with the Cardinals before the draft. So he did not know Jeremiah Love was going to be a member of the team. And right now he's probably third on the depth chart if I had to guess. But it won't stay that way for long, because Jeremiah Love is probably number one just because of what you're paying him. And James Conner is two because he's been here. He's been the 1,000-yard back. He's a leader in the locker room. But it's unlikely that Conner is back with the Cardinals next year, let alone this season, potentially, like we already talked about. So while Algier might be running back 3, right now, on paper, he is the best RB3 in the league. I don't think anyone can even argue that. And next season and the season after, he's going to be running back 2 behind Love. I just don't think that they are going to, keep Algier on the bench as the third back for the entire time he's in Arizona. I think they just kind of ran into a good situation at running back. And it's a good situation to be in, especially, if Love gets hurt, which he's never, well, actually, maybe with Notre Dame on their run to the playoff, he played 17 games, but Love's never played this many games of NFL football before. So he's going to get beat up. It happens to basically every running back. Every running back at some point gets beat up. So Algier's going to be there as a break glass in case of emergency to be your number 1 or number 2 guy, which is awesome. So the Cardinals will not be in a situation like they were last year unless all 3 of those guys get injured, where it was like, man, we don't know if anyone on this team can run the football. And that's why the Cardinals were last in rushing attempts last year, is because they just didn't have any backs. Not to mention the offensive line wasn't that great either. Which, guys, I need to take a drink of water. So that gets me to my next point. Chase Besantis. So I know a lot of us Cardinals fans wanted us to take someone in the trenches with a number 3 pick. And I think the Cardinals, if there had been someone that generationally changing at 3, they probably would have. But I think they looked at the generational players in the draft and said, hey, Love is the most generational prospect. We have to take him with the top 3 pick. The offensive and defensive linemen are more like middle to end of the first round guys. So we're going to pass on them. And hopefully at the end of the first round, we can trade up, or in the second round, we can still get a quality level offensive lineman. And they did. They got Besantis. So he's a guy that can play right guard or right tackle. It hasn't been officially announced like what position he's going to play yet, but I imagine he takes probably the right guard spot as of right now, but he could easily play right tackle as well. And it's going to be a huge boost to have a guy like that who's nasty, who's just nasty. He's a physical guy. He wants to be a violent offensive lineman. Texas A&M was really good at running the football last season. It's going to be great to have a young offensive lineman come in and bring some nastiness. The other offensive lineman that they brought in that has me really excited is Isaac Seumalo. So he signed with Arizona on a 3-year deal for about $30 million. And the guard spent the past 3 years with Pittsburgh after a 7-season stint with Philadelphia. He started 104 out of 125 games, and he spent time both at left and right guard during his NFL career. So this guy's going to be a guard. So I imagine it goes Paris Johnson Jr., Siamalo. Then you have Froholt at center, and then you have Besantis at right guard or right tackle. And then you just have to figure out either your right guard or right tackle spot. Now, if they just don't have a guy that can play right guard or right tackle, then this offensive line may have a gaping hole that it's not able to overcome. But if they can figure it out, if they can figure out that fifth offensive line spot, then this offensive line can be I'm not going to say anything outrageous. Like, I think they can be the best offensive line in football, but I would say, they could be a top 10 unit in football if they're able to figure out that fifth starter on the offensive line. And this offensive line performed really poorly last year, and I expect them to play a ton better, especially running the football, especially with the new running backs that they have playing. And lastly, it's the addition of Mike LaFleur. So the Cardinals have tried to run offenses that are not the Shanahan system in the past. They tried it with Bruce Arians, which worked decently well. They tried running the Cliff Kingsbury system, which worked well sometimes. And they tried running the Drew Petzing system, which worked fine. Worked fine until last year. It obviously didn't. They finally embraced the Shanahan system. So now they're going to be running the same thing that the Rams and the 49ers have been running for the last 10 years. Finally, this incredible offensive system that creates huge running lanes and easy throws for quarterbacks. The Cardinals are finally embracing it. They're finally going to run it. And that alone gives me confidence that this team is going to improve in the running game, because the Shanahan system and the McVay system and the LaFleur system, all of those guys have tweaked it a little bit to be different from one another, but it's all based on running the football. It's all based on being great in the running game, or you have Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers. But for the most part, it's based on running the football and creating easy opportunities for running backs and easy throwing lanes for quarterbacks. And so to finally have a guy for the Cardinals that runs that system, that's gonna do all the beautiful plays that we've seen from McVay and Shanahan over the last 10 years, guys, we're finally going to get that from LaFleur. Hopefully he's just the next coach of a long line of those guys that's going to be an offensive mastermind and will give us at least maybe not an advantage coaching wise against those guys, but be able to hold their own. Because as a Cardinals fan, we know it's been so frustrating to just get completely out-coached by Shanahan, McVay, and those other guys. So that alone, Mike LaFleur bringing in a new system that's supposed to be better for running backs to run the football, I'm super excited for that. And I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs, but they definitely have a good shot to improve the running game this year. And if their running game pops, all you need is one thing to pop like that in the NFL, and you can beat a lot of good teams if you have this unstoppable force on offense. And if that's a Cardinals running game, guess what? They have Trey McBride, they have Marvin Harrison Jr., they have Michael Wilson, they have guys on the outside that if teams are really worried about them running the football, those guys are going to eat too. So that's the AZ Sports Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you'll watch. I hope you'll like, you'll follow, you'll subscribe. Please subscribe. If you see reels on Instagram, like them, comment, follow. If you see us on TikTok or Twitter, please go there as well and like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time on the AZ Sports Podcast.